he sounds like someone who has like perfected his scam.
When you hear all the stuff that he did and kind of the team that he had around him, that he was using people both willingly and unwillingly, and how brazen he was in doing that, that is kind of, who is he?
Who is he?
No, like, like I have my own thoughts, but I would love to hear yours.
For one, like he is someone who, like, this is his fraud, and he has over time really honed his like scamminess. And so he knows what to say, when to say, how fast to say it, possibly with, because we know from the literature that scammers or fraudsters typically, especially in romance fraud, they typically tailor a script. So basically they have this like playbook, and then they look at the individual and go, okay, what is the thing that motivates them the most? What are they looking for? And so they're trying to get all of those like core bits of you, what make you you and how you think. And then they insert it into their playbook. And they're like, okay, so first step, build rapport, build trust. Second step. And it sort of goes through these stages. And urgency is a big one. Like suddenly there's a sudden need, some sort of sudden need. And then it escalates if you can. Because also they'll try, right? The credit card. And then, well, okay, we got the credit card, so let's try a bit more.
Yeah.
And it is really... It's because if he hadn't got the credit card, he probably would have backtracked slightly, but would have probably tried again like a month later. Yeah. Like, it's not like he would have just gone away if you hadn't. It would have just happened slower potentially. Yeah. And in some ways that could be even more crushing. So you've invested even more time thinking that you're in this relationship that doesn't exist.
But I'm just feeling like the people who does this, especially when this in-person one, they have to have kind of zero empathy, like that empathy, there have to be something that is not an excuse for what they're doing, but kind of, I don't see how you can be a normal person to care about people and continue doing this.
I mean, I think we can straight up say it's cruel, right? It is cruel to be.
But I'm trying to think that it must be like he can't have any remorse or empathy for the stuff that he's putting us through.
But do you think...
Because still to this day, he refuses to
acknowledge, Like he's living in his own delusion, clearly, of some form. But like...
That's what I mean. It has to... That's what I'm thinking. Narcissism, psychopaths, that he has to have some kind of grandiosity. He's been that way since young, And I'm trying like to think like... Because we hear so much about these online ones, but these in-person ones, you're taking it to the next level.
And to be able to switch, like you said, where he's partying with Pernilla and then coming and putting on this show of my life is so in danger. Like, that's not an easy thing to act and lie about. But I was wondering, is there something we know in psychology about that?
So the way that scammers and fraudsters, especially romance fraud, usually rationalize to themselves why they should be why it's okay to take advantage of other people is the way that they conceptualize it is, well, the other person is just greedy. So they flip it around.
As in greedy as in they just want love and
she just wanted me for my private jet.
Yeah, no. Yeah, that's what he said. He called us gold diggers himself.
Gold diggers, exactly. But that is probably genuinely what he's telling himself as a story to try and rationalize. Well, no, I'm not being greedy. They were being greedy, and I was taking advantage of it. Like, it's this real like twist of it. And so that's what research shows, at least, is what most of
that is very
thinking.
Yeah, because I was like, when I was talking about the net he was putting out and some of the women kind of, and then I was like, for me, it's like he was seeing some qualities in the people, in the three that came forward, but even more. I met more victims, that as I tried to say, they have to see some form of that. You will be loving, you will be trusting, you have empathy. I think that he always looked a bit for, are they interested in my daughter? Will they ask questions? I think that he saw what kind of people will actually have that emotional connection with him. That's when I always say, like, to be a victim of these type of crimes, you just have to be a kind person. And I think that's what's so sad when you then come forward and then you're being blamed for it.